Hello, in this video I will show you how to use the custom BIM360 project setup tool and what the functionalities of it are. First of all, this video is only for the custom part of the project which is forked from the original GitHub repository. You can find a link to the repository in the description below. In the README section you will find information on the functionalities of the tool, and also you can find how to use the tool and some important notes. Now I will show you in real time how to use it. So the first step is to clone or download the repository. Now I have already downloaded it, so I'm here in the folder with the files. Now the first thing to do is to open the Visual Studio project. Now you need to build the solution. To do this, right click on the solution and choose Build Solution. If everything works correctly, you should see 4 succeeded. And that's everything you need to do in Visual Studio. After this, go to the main folder, and now you will see you have the bin folder. Go in this folder, then debug, sample, and here are the files you can work with. This video is only for the custom batch file, which is working with the custom template CSV file. Here is also an Excel sheet file if you prefer to work with it. But keep in mind that the program is always using only the CSV file. So after using the Excel sheet, save it as CSV file before starting the program. Now I will show you how. So I will open the custom template Excel sheet. This is how the template looks like, and it should always be used for reference. I created a similar example Excel sheet to show you how the program works. And here it is. So you can see we have 2 projects which will be created with some data. I will first show you everything you need to start the program, and at the end I will explain in detail what the requirements for the table are. So after you create your own Excel sheet, go to File, Save As, and here you must save it as a CSV file, comma delimited. And you should save it in the same folder where all of the other files are. So just click Save, OK. And now you have the new CSV file, which looks the same as the Excel sheet. It has the same data, but it is a CSV file instead of an Excel sheet. So that's everything here you need to know. And now you need to change the custom batch file. Open it with any text editor you have, and here you need to insert your Forge client ID, client secret, and also your BIM account ID. After this, you need also to type in your BIM360 account admin email here, and that's everything you need to do. Then just close it and save it. After you've done this, the next step is to run the program, but be sure before running the program that the CSV file is closed and is not open in Excel or any other program. So just double click on the custom batch file, and now you can follow what is happening in the command prompt. A yellow text is something important to read, and the red text is an error after which the program will stop. Now I will speed up until the program has finished. So now the program has finished, and we can go one folder back and into the log folder, and here there are 2 text files in which all of the information from the program has been saved. So the log info, here you can see all of the information that was printed on the command prompt is also saved in this file. And the other one, log important, you should always read this file after running the program, because here are some important information you should know. For example, user 6 was not assigned to a company because we didn't add a company to this user in the Excel sheet. So here is information you should always read after running the program. Next, I will show you in BIM360 what was created. So going to the account admin in BIM360, I will refresh the page. And here we have the two new projects. Okay, first of all, here were created all of the companies in the Excel sheet, and then also the two projects. And in the two projects are the members that were added also in the Excel sheet to the corresponding place. So now I will add myself to this project so I can see the document management and I can see the folder structure. So add myself, then I'll just refresh again and I'll go to the document management. Now you can see that here all the folders and the whole folder structure was created correctly. We can also see the permissions to each folder which are taken from the Excel sheet. So for example, here we had engineer as a role permission and all of the other permissions that are either inherited or for this folder created. Also, we uploaded some files. For example, here we have two files that we uploaded. Important to notice that we upload files from folders that are in the same folder as the batch file. So for example, in our case, we had here the custom batch file is in this folder and we had two folders with data 1 and data 2. And they were uploaded to the corresponding folder in the BIM360. So that's everything here, and that's the result which you hopefully are aiming to. Sometimes the BIM360 takes some time to create the folders and the project in the background, and this could lead to some problems for example, for the permissions, and you have to manually check if everything is correctly created. If not, you can run the batch file once more without changing anything, and this should add everything that was not added. This should not happen, but in some rare cases it happens, so just keep that in mind. So the most important part for the program is to correctly create the table with data. You can see this is the GitHub repository, and in the README section you can go down to the requirements on the CSV file or the Excel sheet, depending on what are you changing, but keep in mind, again, always save it at the end as CSV file. So here are the requirements you should always follow so that the program runs correctly. I can show you some of them just as an example. So, for example, there should be always a new project at the first row. So the second row, because the first are the names of the columns, but at the second row there must always be a project. Then there should be always an empty row between projects. A company trait must always be assigned to a company. There should be always a permission to a user for a folder or to a role permission, and so on. You can see all of these requirements in the README section. They are all explained. Another important thing to note is that when you create new users, only the first time you should assign them to a role or company, because after the first time they are only used but they are not created again. So for example, here the user 1 has the industry roles architect and engineer and is assigned to a company 1. And the second time we see here user 1, it has no industry roles or company because they are already assigned to the user. The same is for the company. So if we create company 2 at the beginning, it has the company trait architecture, but the next time we use company 2, it doesn't have trait because it is already created. What I already explained, the data folder should be in the same folder as the batch file when we start the program, and here are the folders. and they will be uploaded to a corresponding folder in BIM360. For example, data 1 in folder 1.1. The project name should also always have a project type, and so on. So you can see all of the requirements in the README section in GitHub, and you should always use the template Excel sheet so you can see how the data should look like. One last important thing to note is how the folder structure works. So when you assign a user to a folder, it is assigned to the first folder to the up, that is to this user. So for example, user 2, the first folder we see to the up is folder 1. For role permission engineer, the first folder we see is folder 1, so it will be assigned to the folder 1, and so on. This works for everything, for every folder, and the same works also for the project. So for example, user 5 and user 6 are assigned, so we don't see any root folder, so the next thing we see is a project. So the user 5 and user 6 are only assigned to the project without assigning them to any folder, and this works for everything, for the for the local folder, so for the data to upload, and everything else works in the same manner. So you always look to the left and to the up until you see the first folder. That's everything you need to know. I hope the program works good for you and it helps you. And that's all. Thank you.